everyone, welcome back. If you joined us for webinar 1 or if this is your first session of the day, hello from Marketing Showcase Online. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Ashley Jones and I'm the event director. I will be your host for today. So for our second webinar of the day, I'm joined by Simon Kinsey from Sparkstone, who's going to be talking about how marketers can get the most from their CRM. He's a great speaker, so really looking forward to this one. Just before we get into his presentation, sorry if you joined us for the first one and I'm teaching you to suck eggs here, but I just want to go through a few bits on Zoom of how we're going to run today's webinars. Beneath me in the toolbar, you'll have a chat function where you can say hello to me to start. Again, I like to know everyone's there, so I'm not just talking to a camera in our office on my own, feeling sad and lonely. But we've also got the Q&A function, which is where you can store questions for our speaker, which I'd be happy to ask on your behalf at the end of the presentation. Really looking forward to this one. Thanks again for joining us. Without further ado, I'd really like to get into it. So I welcome Simon from Sparkstone to talk on how marketers can get the most from their CRM. Hi, Simon.
How you doing, Ash?
Really well, thank you. You?
Yeah, very good, actually. I'm very happy to be talking again today.
Good. I'm going to let you crack on. Good luck. Enjoy, everyone.
Okay, let's go. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Nice to be with you again today. I'm going to talk about really CRM for marketing and for marketeers, and the sort of the real value in future-proofing the entire organization through those functions. I'd like to just introduce myself a little bit more. The company Sparkstone Technology was formed about 20 years ago. I've been around for about 30 years, more years than I really want to talk about. We deliver solutions based on our 4 pillars of software that we develop in the UK. We've got back office integrated stock control, order processing, logistics, management, purchasing, all the rest of it. We've got a retail front end to that, so if you want e-pots and if you like the store side of taking customer orders, you can do. And then we've developed an entire e-com platform that will compete with the likes of Magento, Shopify, and so on, all of the single database. And lastly, we've introduced our customer service management, our customer relationship management tool that really acts as a layer on that for everybody in the business to interact together. We probably serve about 3,000 users across 150 odd clients, and we like to think that we deal with real life world issues with a lot of human touch and intelligence. So without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, sorry, one quick point. We've got some prizes today. So if you put yes please into the chat and put your hand up, we've got up to £5,000 on offer for our towards Sparkstone CRM implementation services. That'll be drawn on the 31st of October. And we've also got a free 1-hour consultancy on offer for everybody who puts yes please into the chat to talk about whatever aspects of business CRM you want to talk about, and let's see how that develops through the day. So today everybody's a winner, as they say. So let's get on with this. The first thing really is to consider whether we really are in a new world order. And so this image is deliberate because I don't think any of us are serenely sitting there dipping our toes in pools of tranquility, floating along in the new normal. I think we're in the middle of transition. We're in the middle of a seismic shock occurring at the moment. In fact, 2 in the UK, with just COVID and Brexit going on at the same time. And I don't think anybody really knows how it's going to play out. So whether you talk about transitioning to working from home, or changes in healthcare and our approach to healthcare, or socializing rules, or hospitality and how we spend our money, all of those things are changing. Whole business sectors may never return and will be replaced by something different. And that means, of course, the entire workforces, and I've just been reading 4 articles about people whose entire jobs and careers have changed out of sight. Entire workforces and business processes are being redesigned because, and let's talk about marketing for a minute, how are we going to network efficiently? How are we going to interact with our business systems? How are we going to generate leads? And marketing and the entire process around it all needs to adapt. What was normal is no more. It doesn't really matter how much we want to think we're going to go back. It's going to be different. And I'm pretty sure that those things won't go back. We are in unknown territory, and the key to being able to deal with unknown and transition is flexibility and fleetness of foot. Saying keep marketing is a given, but market what? Well, that's business strategy. So let's put that to business strategy seminars. And how needs to be reimagined. And I think that one of the things I'm sure of as well is that the value for CRM, of CRM and for marketing, is massively underestimated in what you can do. The function marketing needs to be at the heart of regeneration and business growth. And while some businesses are thriving, some are not. And these changes, these seismic changes, really give us a once in a generation opportunity for the landscape to change, to provide great opportunities for profits and change, and for the players, the lead players in any of these markets to change, and for careers to be made, and indeed for the new roles to evolve. And marketing via CRM is the lead. And I'll explain that. You collect data, and data gives you answers. Yeah, it gives you answers, but it needs to raise questions. And the only way to do that is to get out there, use market research techniques, and find out by talking to real people what is happening, what they need. And then, of course, you need to react to that data. So the data has to be accessible, coherent, analyzable, not sure that's a word, reportable, and live. And the best thing, small businesses can change faster than big businesses. I once had a definition nearly 25 years ago. Definition of a big business is a slow-moving target that bleeds profusely when hit. Small businesses are in the lead here, and it's all change for those who want to succeed. So let's get into this. Where we were before was, and I've got one of these lovely little definitions of CRM for marketing that I made up. So you'll see the liberties I took. Management of all relationships, communications, because it doesn't really matter how we spell it as long as we know what it means, enabling timely interactions for gain. And this is still true, but it's not everything. So if there's systems that can do some of these things, let's go through those things first. And I think the first thing to look at is most of us have got systems for something around the CRM function, whether it's just an Excel spreadsheet or whether it's something a lot more elaborate. I think the question I really want to raise is whether your CRM is working for you at the moment. And I'm only going to go through 3 areas: whether we've got the right tool for the job, about implementation, a brief nod to that, and then to talk a little bit about data and how we can improve that situation. I think the first thing about right tool for the job is to really acknowledge that CRM is so badly defined. It can mean so many different things to people. So whether you start off with really ordinary Salesforce automation, which is what people frequently get into in the first place for, the traditional view of pipeline management and opportunity management and managing quotations through its stages. Yep, I get that. That's the traditional view. But then you've got this whole plethora of things that other people think it should do. Quote creation. Not entirely sure how it can do quote creation unless it's linked into other operational systems and commercial systems and commercial rules and things. You might have a bolt-on for it, but it's not out the box something that CRM does. Ticket support systems and customer service. Well, yeah, that I think is absolutely right, but you still need to be plugged into the other business systems, because I fail to see how somebody can do customer service without knowing what the account balance is in the sales ledger. Or where a project is, or what the latest update is. So you need to integrate with that system. Then you've got people saying, well, I want it to do bulk emailing. Well, it won't. People have got entire businesses dedicated to managing and maintaining servers that do really good bulk emailing. And CRM systems won't do that. It might seem like an obvious cost, but it won't be in the long term. Surveys, customer survey management, let's go through a few more ideas. Help desk, knowledge bases, document management, file management, workflow manager, recruitment manager, I've seen that one being requested, timesheet manager, workflow management, advertising manager, I said already, campaign management. And clearly, if you think about it logically, one system can't do all of those things to the same level. What we're really talking about at best is a platform for bringing these things together in a coherent business process-like way and tying it in with the internal documentation of the business. So what I like, and I love this slide because I think it says it well, CRM, if you like, that environment is really like an elephant that's trying to be described by several people at the same time who are all wearing blindfolds and who are all looking for different things. And when they get a piece of the elephant, they're trying to describe it to others. And of course, it doesn't really make any sense to the other person because they can't see what the other person's talking about. So you've got to really come back to what you really want to do with CRM, because it can do a lot of things. It can do communications management or automation. It can really help you manage audiences and segment, or do product service and brand awareness campaigns, or it could do customer satisfaction, and it could do workflow management and automation. So you need to be aware of all these different things, and of course telemarketing, sales team management, going in more traditional areas. What does it want to do for you? I think you've got to be aware of what I'm saying. Then there isn't necessarily one right tool for the job. Not one tool can do everything, but you do need to get the data into one place where you can see it and analyze it and act on it, and you need to get it into a single database. The single source of truth on the button, I think, is a really good way of saying it. So CRM is ideal for using. This is the platform with it. I've got a slide later on. Customer experience data resides in the CRM, especially when you integrate with other systems, but you need to be specific. If you want to go to your cousin's wedding, you don't go, I want to go to a wedding. You don't get the taxi drive booked in the morning and say, can you take me to a wedding in a church? Because you will end up at a wedding in a church, but I'm pretty sure you won't get invited to the reception or invited to stay, and it won't be any of the payoff you want. But I think a more relevant example is one I've been talking about for years, which is the going on a tube journey, a tube train journey. You get a ticket for where you want to go. That bit's fairly, straightforward. You set out your destination, if you like. Now, the first challenge is getting to the platform, because if you don't use the tube every day, if you're a casual visitor to this land of tube trains, finding the right platform can be difficult, whether you're going to go east to west or north to south when you get there. Doesn't always make sense. The first thing you do is you get on the train. Now, then you look at the map and you at least make sure your destination is on the map. And then the second thing you do is you come to the first station and you make sure that station is the first one on the direction of travel that you want to go on. And if it's not, you get off and you amend your plan. Either you get a different train or you go back to where you came from and start again. And that really is marketing in a nutshell. It's the business direction in a nutshell. If it's not in the right direction, get off, recalibrate, start again. You don't just sleep on it. You certainly don't sit on the circle line and go all the way around, hoping you'll get back in the end. You've got to take action based on measuring where you've got to and whether it's where you want it to be. So CRM is what you need it to be. Set your goals, work out how CRM can help you achieve them, set your direction, your destination, how fast you want to get there. A bit like the difference between speed and velocity. Velocity has direction. And then you can work out how CRM or one of its tools or the platform can help you achieve that more efficiently. That's a starting point. The next thing we talked about in this was implementation issues. And I want to go through this because I think we've all had projects that have gone wrong, especially on technology, and CRM is a big area for that. And I think part of these problems, and we'll all recognize something or some more that they can add to this list, the reason for the system wasn't communicated across the business. Somebody got really excited. Somebody spoke to the managing director on a golf course one day and he said, I've got you to get this in. It's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And so it creates a lack of engagement. It creates inconsistent use. It might not have been consulted on properly. You haven't had the right training on it, or it's too complex, or it's too simple. There's very rarely a Goldilocks solution out there, or it's seen as for somebody else, usually sales who don't want to use it because they can't be bothered. And there's either no sponsor for the project ongoing because there never was one, or the person has left, which means it's just left in the doldrums to pay an annual license on, and nobody really cares. So all of those implementation issues need to be brought into bear, either on existing systems or replacing it with what you want to do in the future. But even if you have got it, you've got to think about data. So I'm going to talk about data. A lot of these slides have got, the next 2 or 3 slides have got quite a lot of data on it. And we want to see how it can affect your organization. The interesting thing is nearly 2/3 of businesses rely on CRM data to segment and target customers. But nearly 95% of those people think their CRM data correctly is out of date to a significant extent. And on average, somewhere between 25 and 40% of the average B2B database is inaccurate. It's real life. I get it. 30% of people change their jobs annually, maybe up to 21% of companies change their CEOs annually. 43% of people, give or take, change their phone numbers each year. Postal addresses change all the time, more than I thought they did actually when I went to do this research. And more importantly to all of us, 37% of email addresses change annually, not necessarily incorrect. They change roles, they change departments, they change businesses, and that has an effect on the data. The consequent effect is massive, and I'm going to give a quick example. Let's just say you you want to get 95% delivery rates on your emails. And for that, you want to get two conversions, 2 meetings, say in a B2B environment, for every 100 that you send. That's great, that'd be good. But if that delivery rate falls to 75%, then you need to do 25% more effort, send out 133 emails to get the same. Of course, that has a knock-on effect all the way through the chain: frequency of emailing, content management, delivery, and creation. And it's not just wasted once, it's wasted multiple times. MailChimp will be very happy with you if you don't create that data, because they're quite happily charge you as long as those emails arrived. They might penalize if it goes wrong, but you'll change those. It's the ones that you don't have to change, where you don't act on it. All of your reporting will be wrong because your basic premise was incorrect in the starting point, money is being wasted and no sales. And from a marketing point of view, with the new world order we're talking about, you're going to get shouted at because you're supposed to be delivering marketing qualified leads for sales to act upon. So the answer is cleaner, you say, but you've built your own very own 4th road bridge, or 7 road bridge, or whatever you want to call it. You've got this average, again, a third of businesses, more than 100,000 records in CRM. And my mum always used to say to me, Simon, you're a creature of quantity over quality. Well, not when it comes to data in my CRM database. If you cleaned 100,000 records at the rate of 100 per day, which would be extraordinary, and we all know that, it would take 3.5 years to clean the data, and it keeps going out of date all the time. It's a never-ending, thankless task. So we want to try and do something about it. What do we do about it? Well, the problem isn't that you need to clean, you need to clean. You could invest in more reliable sources of data. There are sources out there on a subscription basis, so you're either going to pay or you're going to pay people to clean the data. But I think the problem is lack of focus. Too much volume, you can't handle it. What you need to do is focus that down, segment the data more, and then we will profit. It's really obvious. 25% higher rates of conversion with better data, 70% more revenue, less effort, happier team members. The whole thing is a win-win for everybody. So I think those 3 areas: bad data, going back to bad implementations, going back to have you got the right tools for the job, and do you understand them, and are they brought into, and are they part of an integrated systems approach, are what we can do right now. You go away from here and start looking at those things with lots of questions about how they should be fitting together. Business strategy aside, marketing strategy you can look at and start reinventing it. The next thing I want to talk about is something a little bit new, but it's not completely new. People have started to talk about this a while ago, and that is, let's start with this idea that the power of customer experience. This is nothing new in concept, new in business sense of coming into systems to enable it more, and talk about consistency across different channels and all those sorts of things, but the power of customer experience. If you give great customer experience, you're going to be increasing revenue and creating repeat business, and your customers will act as advocates for you. They will give personal reviews, positive reviews. They will feedback in ways that you can't imagine and that you can't see, and you can't measure with other people going back and saying, well, I heard you did a really good job for so-and-so down the road. I'd like you to do the same for me. Conversely, if you deliver poor customer experience, and we've all got those more highly in our mind, and that's my point, is all the bad experiences you've got are right there for you to repeat to the first person who's going to listen to you. 70% of those customers won't even return, and they're going to tell their friends, colleagues, and partners of the bad experience they had with you. So even before COVID, Gartner Group reckoned that 81% of people were going to be competing based on customer experience, not on price, not on functionality, not on delivery, but on customer experience. And I think that's backed up by the Forbes magazine quote, costs 5 times as much to acquire a new customer as it does to keep a current one. So what can you do about fostering that? How does marketing get involved? And how does the CRM platform, this landscape, help you do it? And I think I've got a few pointers on this. The first thing this is really an index slide, so I'm going to cover all of these in a little bit more detail. Embracing customer experience, enabling CRM, whatever that might mean, and how it's designed throughout the business. Integrating all the channels of communication into one place, so you can deliver that consistent experience to all customers. Marketing smarter, analyzing everything and having targets for everything that you want to take action on, and constantly improving through iteration and amending what you're doing. Remember the tube journey and the fact that you changed your tube train because it wasn't going to where you wanted to go to, and so therefore you were going to miss the wedding. So getting a whole board on board, embracing customer experience. This slide has got a lot on it, so I'm going to use what's on this slide for a minute. You need all of the departments around the business on board: finance, marketing, sales, operations, customer service, however you've designed it. You need all of them bought into this idea of giving great customer experience, and that the fact that CRM, that platform, is the place where all that data is going to live. Getting a CRM champion at board level, and preferably more than one, because board members tend to change. Preferably a budget holder who can invest when it's needed, and preferably with the ear of the MD. So you want that sponsorship at the highest level so you can get that culture change in the business. You want to, having got that, you really need this data to be presented to all of your team members so they can do their jobs well. I alluded earlier to, it's hard to see how somebody can do customer service if they don't know how much a customer owes or whether a project's overdue or not. Get that data visible in one place. Don't make them re-log in. Don't pay extra licenses. Get all that data in one place, and it's perfectly doable. And don't make them do their job multiple times, and don't make customers repeat data entry, data problems, their experience problems to you multiple times. It seems obvious, and this is going to be a bit of an obvious statement. The more seams, the more joins you make in the process, the worse the customer experience is. The more seams you make, the less seamless it is. And what you want is to make a seamless experience for your customers, and you would like CRM to be the glue between all those different operations. And we've got lots of other presentations about how you can enable that. You want to, if you like, manage the customer journey from a single platform. So no matter whether that information is coming from the warehouse or from the shop or from the factory floor or from the boardroom, you want to get that journey into one place, and you really want the communications to be stored in one place. So integrating all your communications, channeling all your comms through your CRM so you can see it. And I've got an example of one of our screens here for Rena. Cody, and we can see on the right hand side that I've got things like incoming SMSs, emails, Facebook messages, web chats, all in that chat in one place and being able to act on it. But let's not also forget that the internal messaging is equally important. So at the bottom of the screen, I've got the internal messages between members of the team that say, can you take a look at this? Can you give them a price for this? All those sorts of things that are the day-to-day, if you like, granularity of dealing with customers need to be tracked as well. And once you've got this data coming in, we get to the second one I mentioned, which is just marketing smarter. You've got the data, you can segment, you can launch specific campaigns, multi-channel campaigns that go across all these different mediums that suit how a customer wants to talk to you, whether they want to be on Facebook or whether they want to be in web chat, or whether they want to get email messages. You can work out what to send them in intelligent ways. You can innovate your marketing process. So whether it's white papers or drip email campaigns, or whether it's special offers or enticements that will get them to interact and engage with you, you've got the tools to do this, and CRM is the foundation, and it's a marketing tool. The next one, which goes a bit away from the more fluffy communication side, if you like, is this is about science. This is about analyzing everything. Data scientists. I love the picture of the Mad Men office from the TV program. We all like it. It's a terribly romantic view of that excitement and that drama. But actually, it's all in the data, and it's about maths, men and women now. Don't let the data you've got go to waste. Get the data from all the systems in CRM, measure everything, and then you can get your campaigns right. You can get innovative campaigns where you measure the cost per lead, you can attribute the cost per lead, you know whether a marketing source works or not, and do it right, and you'll be able to do more of it. And if you get it wrong, you can get off the tube train, you can fail faster, and you can succeed more quickly in a new direction. So you're remembering that all of this data comes back into your CRM system and for you to be able to use in the right way, gaining visibility of it, gaining reports of it, using that insight, if you like, to get right messages out to the right people in the right place at the right time, so that all of your business systems come into focus and are harmonized with the right process for everybody to follow to give amazing customer experience. It is way more than a relationship management tool. It's way more than a contact manager. It's way more than an Excel spreadsheet. It resides at the very heart of the business that enables you to thrive from this current situation and head up intelligently and face what the changes are going to be and enable us to interact with this transition. So before I end, just a very quick commercial message, if you like, that we're here. We offer CRM, e-commerce, retail solutions with a unified back office, stock management that can do really clever things, serial number tracking, matrix, all sorts of things. We're UK based. Our software is simple to learn. It's easy to use, easy to get on board with, extremely powerful, and yet very, very affordable, super affordable. And we've got to remember that it's important to get good return on our investments at the moment. Please don't forget the competition. We've got up to 5,000 quid worth of implementation services to give away absolutely free. I'd love talking to people, so happy to answer any questions either in the section afterwards if I haven't overstayed my welcome and talking. So I'd like to say thank you very much and hand back to Ash. Our phone number's there on the screen. Please do give us a call afterwards, or put your hand up, say yes please in the chat, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Simon. Great presentation. Really enjoyed that one. Packed with knowledge, that one. Loads to think about. And I'm going to encourage people at this point just to ask a few questions whilst we've got 3 or 4 minutes at the end here, just to pick Simon's brains on CRM. So if you've got any questions about the way you're using your CRM currently, please do pop those in the chat or in the Q&A, and I'd be happy to ask those to Simon. But I wanted to know, off the back of that presentation, what's one simple thing that our audience can get on with, perhaps for the rest of this week with regards to their technology and their CRM? Where would you focus their time initially off the back of your presentation?
I think that, and I know this is going to sound trite, the first thing is go back and say, is the organisation got its business strategy sorted out? Whatever it is I sort of skated over that point, is there are businesses that are going to need to reinvent themselves. That's not within the marketing part. They need to have that right, because once you've got that, you can start reinventing the marketing approach to it, the methods of communication, what you want to put out there. Going back from today, I go right back to those. If you've got a disused CRM system, or you think it doesn't provide value, or you thought it was for sales, you've got the wrong tool for the wrong job, and it's a waste of money. You need to get back to saying, right, how do we get these messages out? How do we get that lovely clockwork system that works like a smoothly oiled machine, if you like? So go back, get the business strategy sorted out and say, what are we selling? What's the first thing to get out? I suppose if I was adding one thing to that, just as value, there was I've been around for a while. We've been through a couple of recessions before, and one of the things that came out before was and it was trains again. I don't know if there's a theme going here. Was to mind the gap. Mind the gap. And you've heard the phrase. You don't see it so much now because they put barriers up to stop you falling down between trains and the platform. But mind the gap, and it was shouted out quite loudly. And I think that's the thing, is if you sell big projects, then what can you sell that fills the gaps in between those big projects? Can you add incremental services? Can you put special offers out there? Can you get more time sold on projects? And fill in that gap to give you that time, because the minute you've got the cash flow right, you've got the oxygen, and you can start looking at the business processes. So just to summarize what I just said, business strategy right, bit of mind the gap, go back, look at the CRM systems you've got, say, have you got tools that help you deliver messages? Sorry, I've gone on a bit.
Brilliant. No problem.
Again.
I mean, we've got 1 minute, but there's a recurring theme through the chat and in the question and answers. So within this this final minute, people are commenting saying that their CRM, and I'm not mentioning any names, but if you look at the chat, you can see who it is, are saying their CRM function is really complicated. The platform itself is overly complicated. And I think that's a message reiterated through lots of systems. Can you comment on a complicated CRM system, how you overcome that and implement it?
Okay, so one of the things is, as I say, I will go back to poor implementation, and that isn't necessarily about not throwing money at it. It's about not being specific enough about what you want to do and not having chosen the right products in the right place. A lot of systems do enable customization, and the customization that I think most people are saying from what you just said is they need to cut down the complexity of the screens, and they need to have the process that they want their staff to follow in the sort of train your ideas, the idea that you've got people engaged in using the systems in the right way. So one of the things is with our software, for example, is you can add as many customized user-defined fields as you want, and you can put any field on or off any grid or any form view. The simpler you can get as you know, right tool for the right job goes along through this. So if you can reduce the complexity of the screens, and people can say, oh, I need to do this field, this field, this field, press OK, I'm on to my next call. Or, for example, I just want to say I've completed the call and somebody needs to book a meeting. And all I have to do is press one button and write my notes. That's great. And if at the same time I could press another button that says no answer, wouldn't that be good? And again, it's about the systems that you're using. So look to the customization. If it's gone past its sell by, if it hasn't got these sorts of tools, then you need to look for something that does enable you to do it. Because the killer on business systems is once people start inventing how to use those systems themselves, and they invent all sorts of different ways to start using fields inconsistently, you end up with a complete mess.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I think that's some valuable advice, but I would say, that's probably a conversation to have that could last a long time, and it's to be had between specific businesses. So from my experience of what I've seen, lots of out the box software can kind of cause that issue, rather than kind of speaking to somebody that can tailor a piece of software and offer advice from somebody that is an expert. So on that point, please do get in touch with Simon. Pop yes please in the chat if you want his goodie bag, which does come with a consultation if you so choose to take him up on that. So I'll just leave the chat open for another sort of couple of minutes for people to do that. I want to thank Simon for his time. That's brilliant. I hope everyone enjoyed that. And thank everyone that visited this webinar today for your time as well. And thank you for tuning in. We've got another webinar shortly in about 15 minutes time, where I'm joined by brand new speaker, Matthew Sokol, who is a senior PPC trainer, and we'll be talking about how you can create an award-winning Google Ads account. I've sent you an invite via email, so you should be able to join within the next 10 minutes. So look, I'm going to round this one off by saying thanks very much. Simon, lots of people in the chat saying thank you as well. So good job today, and look forward to seeing you again at one of our events soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, everyone. Have a great day.